right up beyond Barbados and St. Lucia, both of which found the effects quite unpleasant. But the devastation was near the eye. It's a beautiful eye near Grenada. Now, in September, we'd think this is a major hurricane, happens every 20 years or so, and not surprising. But it's July, and there's the worry. It's a unique storm. It formed in June, became in 24 hours a Category 4. And it's the earliest Category 5 in July, with winds well in excess of 250 kilometres per hour. These are how they're categorised. It's the winds just around the inside of the eye, the strongest winds. There isn't a Category 6, so Category 5 will just go up and up as the storms get worse. Now, Beryl, of course, is fed like every tropical storm by the warmth of...
Okay, so let's use the windy services, compliments windyofcourse.com. I don't have premium, so don't ask me about that. Let's look at the temperature of the ocean, because here we have to start paying attention to temperature of the ocean from a climate change perspective. Normally, temperatures in the ocean attracts and also helps with the formation of those weather conditions, storms and hurricane and low pressure and high pressure systems. Now, what has been happening over the last 100 days? We have been recognizing that the temperature of the oceans in the northern equatorial part, Grenada included, have been becoming warmer, and that has also been affecting our coral, which, if you know or if you have been reading, coral reefs also helps us to kill the hurricane or slow down the capacity of the hurricane as it travels over good coral areas. So with warm water, you have coral bleaching, the death of coral. With warm water, you have acidification of the ocean, which means that the coral will bleach. So we do have a whole collective of issues happening here that would lead to, and that's why I'm agreeing with this gentleman in the video from Al Jazeera. Compliments Al Jazeera and this good analysis from your weatherman there. I hope you don't pull on my video because of using your stuff. I just need to do this analysis. And this piece of water here is around in the 20s, right? So we are looking around 20s, 29, 20s, right? Around Grenada would be a little cooler because we do have plants and trees outside of Grenada to what we call it. That would be the eastern side. Yeah, that's the eastern side where the sun comes up from over Grenville side, 28. As we go out, it's 29. As you go out deeper, you realize 28, 29 on average using the windy app. Now, what you're realizing, the temperatures are over here in places, where is this place? At the South America, Venezuela area, is in the 34s. So this is a very warmer area here on this piece of land mass. You see 32, 34. I don't know why it's warmer. I cannot tell you why. I'm not, I don't have the tools and resources to go and answer these questions, but you're seeing that there is more warmth around this piece of land mass here, right? 32, 30, 32 on a regular day. Over here is quite good. You can see, I could assume that's vegetative or mountainous vegetation, and to the outskirts 32, and those areas here around the 30s. Now, what this is signaling to me is to pay attention to that kind of pattern of behavior, because the little simple natural losses, the hurricanes or the storms follow where the heat is. They want to get to the place of warmth. They want to warm themselves up. So normally they would have gone to the north, because the north is, as you would see, as you go up north, it's supposed to have also become warmer, as the seasonal, what we call the summertime in the north is there. So it would have been following its natural northern part. So Grenada used to be escaping, and this used to be escaping, because naturally these pathways up here are warmer, specifically really up to the north here. The bigger islands here would have been much warmer in this period coming to summer, what we call summer. July, September, October is kind of summerish hot times up in these parts up here, and we know it's hot in these states and places up here, which creates that global atmospheric temperature, as you could see, to keep up here warm, which would also cause the attraction to the north. So the magnetic pool is really being measured from a point of view of sideways now towards this part of the world because of the heat here. So we have this down pool towards the South America top, and we have also a northern pool. Now, if this balance continues like this, we could assume that Grenada would be in the pathways for multiple hurricanes going forward. Trinidad would also be in the pathway, meaning that the southern parts here would be in the pathway if these storms form in a way that they are looking for the heat and they are given the magnetic pull down to the south, as compared to being in a place where they get pulled up to the north. Of course, St. Vincent, Castries, and Barbados, which I'm not seeing here on the map, maybe this picture is hiding, Barbados could also be in a terrible pathway if the north becomes much more warm in the next few months and we have formation of any type of system. Of course, why am I going with the theoretical assumption that there is more sideways movement? Simply because of things like the markets, the forex, the cryptocurrency, those type of markets do have the same pattern of behavior. Sometimes they go sideways, and then we don't know why they go sideways. They say bull and bear markets, but here this one is showing evidence that I am saying magnetic attraction. This has nothing to do with the true magnetic attraction. I'm just showing you the pull, which you might call the pool based upon these little numbers they call temperature, pulls things down, which is to the south, or if the stronger magnet is up here, which I'm looking at as the temperature, if it is up here, it would pull things to the top. So let's assume that we are looking at a little piece of iron coming across here, and the strength of pull is down here. Then we have this, but if the strength is up here, we would have this kind of pattern of behavior.
the surface water. And it is warmer in the Atlantic and the Caribbean by 2 or 3 degrees above the long-term averages. This isn't going to change. It might even get worse. It might get warmer still. So you're inserting more energy for every storm that forms. Hence, Beryl, early and major. And Beryl's still going. Barreling through the Caribbean, which is warmer than normal, past Jamaica, still as a Category 4 storm, slowly losing energy as it goes further west, admittedly. But what does this say for our season? Well, in fact, the season was already forecast to be rather worse than normal. Could have up to 25 named storms, well above the average. Maybe 7 major hurricanes, that's Category 3 or above. The average is 3. We've had 1 already. And the drivers are, as you know, the warmer water, which is everywhere, but certainly in the hurricane paths, and La Nina, which is the pendulum swing, almost the opposite of El Nino. It just adds more impetus, so the conditions are ripe for a very nasty season, and you've seen how it started.
This hurricane had a tornado in it, you know, because while it hit on my roof. I feel when it begin to spin, like you want to spin the roof off. And to one extent, I had to put my 2 fingers and close my ears, you know, because it was too much a song, too much a song. When I do look, I see galvanized flying like papers all over the place, yeah. So this have a tornado in it, you know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm making the point that this was such of a extraordinary thing that years gone by, in 1955, we had one that is called Janet Hurricane, which my mother and other senior citizens spoke about. And that was like a disaster. But when we come look at this one that happened now, there is nothing in comparison, because the wind was what they call, in this one, a Euroclydon, meaning it was coming from every angle, right? And so this is exceptionally high.
Back here, it's 6 o'clock on our dial in the Grenada time. We are the ones who brought in the first experiences of the Beryl, and we continue to look at it here. So as of 6 o'clock Saturday evening, today Saturday the 6th of the 7th month, we see this massive body of whatever you want to call it, pulling in all the air into this environment there, and purportedly it would make its way towards the warmer areas, and that may be also influenced by the Coriolis effect, which would pull it up to the northern side here. So maybe it could go to these areas here, which are quite warm, or around this here. So he's looking at San Antonio, we're looking at these areas here. I think that's Dallas, Texas, right? So that's Texas, so that's Houston, Dallas. These are warm areas right now. 38, 35, all these areas here are very attractive. So we could see that and then remember the Coriolis effect, which brings things up to the north, would cause that drift to happen there. So we could see this tomorrow moving there. So let's look at what windy would have have in its forecasting model here over time. So we're looking at it moving into Corpus Christi, which I have not been, which is part of Texas apparently, more between there and Houston. So we're looking at Houston and up to that area there, with San Antonio getting some weather by so that's Tuesday the 9th. So we see that's the projection going on for Beryl, and then it would start dying out over the land, losing it. Well, not dying out, it's going to lose its energy over the land, because it has to transfer energy from itself to the materials that we call destruction. So it's transferring the energy now to houses, trees, landmass. Now, what do we have to look at in terms of pressure? Let's go right back to today. The pressures are very much at the center. You could see it's 999 here at the center, and then the lower pressures are around the hurricane, 10 millibars, and then 10 12 outside here. And if we look at the pressure system around, we notice that the pressure systems are quite 10 15 high, that's way up here. Now to the west, which is having the west of California here, we have 10 14 millibars. I think pressure is in millibars here. And what I want to show in here is the temperature, to show you that we have some really massively hot temperatures across the West, California, Phoenix, and that even to this part here. So the darker it is the more hot it is, and we know that those things attract the hurricanes. We do have 32s in Jackson and Dallas is 32, 33 there, but you are seeing some extraordinary 43, like 43. I don't know what 43 means in Phoenix. Maybe that's the desert in Arizona, but we have 40, 43, 44 in Las Vegas, 43 there, 46. And these temperatures here could be quite instrumental in the next hurricane, or in bringing the next hurricane across the west. Now it may look very far out for you, because you are not looking at the Caribbean, but normally a hurricane, or normally hurricanes starting on the west coast of Africa here. Now it's very warm off here. You can see the temperature here, the darker it is, pulling in some. That is good, so we wouldn't have a system being created very easy out on the coast right now. That is a wonderful thing. But if a system develops here and it is coming across here, you notice the trend according to Windy. If the system develops low enough, it is going to be attracted across these temperatures again, whereas normally they should be moving by the Coriolis effect up this way. Coriolis wind bringing them up this way and bringing them out, which is why some of the other islands here, Bahamas always gets a little touch of it, and the northern islands of Grenada gets a little touch. But now you have to consider warm waters down here, as discussed in the video, warm land masses around here. You see 30s up here, even Mexico City in 23 right now. The warmness around here, even the warmness around Caracas and these areas around here, continues to be the points of attraction. And of course the Caribbean is hot or warm, or what you want to see. It's quite warm in the Caribbean, so this would have that effect, as you could see how the winds are traveling there. So what we want to hope for is to ensure that the whole pool of events from way up here, with this extreme black that you're looking at here, is actually hits that are in the 40s, 36, 40s. So we're looking at higher 30s, closer to 40s across this belt here. If this continues to grow, we would be having some kind of issues in the US, but of course these issues could be trickling over time and warming up the whole continent, warming up the landmass, warming up the water, causing effects of more westward movement for any storm that is coming across to just be doing its westward cycle, what I call the the sideline movement, the sideways, the market going sideways. We see that in crypto, we see that in forex. Well, the hurricane going sideways instead of the hurricanes moving immediately to the north, they would be sidelining themselves, which could be happening from a locality here or local areas here with the warmness of the waters, but also because of temperatures even way out here at this point in time.